Welcome back. Well, the story so far in the painting of St. Barnabas is that I chose the saint from a list of saints, holy people that I've been painting over the years. I went online to see what other iconographers might have done about St. Barnabas, and wasn't terribly excited with what is offering. I couldn't find anything of any kind of antiquity. They're usually the best icons to use as models, even for modern icons. But I did find this one, and I was okay about the face with this one. For the most part, while I'll use one of the hand gestures in my icon, for the rest I will probably compose myself. So I did some composition yesterday in full size for what I'll be doing on the panel, and here is the sketch of Barnabas. I was able to work out how it will look on the panel, composing it and sketching it in pencil, making sure all the body dimensions are correct. And so for this session I'll be sketching with paint the icon onto this prepared panel. It's a pine panel. It's been covered in linen and gesso. For the most part, as far as I can understand, and when I first learned iconography, many iconographers will do a sketch such as this, or find an outline of an icon from somewhere else and trace it with tracing paper, or by using a pastel to trace it onto the panel. My teachers, Philip Davidov and Olga Shalamova, teach a different method, and that's the one that I prefer and enjoy, and find that others that I am influencing are enjoying this way of preparing a panel for painting. So, again, welcome, and let's get on with the next section of the task of painting Barnabas. Well, let's get to work. Let's put on our protective clothing. I don't usually make much of a mess, but it's just as well. And we need a panel to paint on. Freshly sanded, nice and smooth, white gesso on a pine panel, braced at the back, set on my favourite easel. And then we need to mix a little bit of yellow ochre, not with egg at this stage, but just with water. It means it can be easily, well, brushed off, washed off, and this is for just doing in the rough sketching. And using a hog hair brush, stirring up the mixture. The hog hair very rough, very thick. We're not putting in fine lines at this stage, we're just blocking in the whole effect. But first of all, we need to get our measurements right. So we've got the sketch in place. We've got the model on the other side just to check against. We've put a line down the centre, and we're plotting with a pencil and dividers straight from the sketch, because that's we know that that's how it's going to fit, how it's going to compose well in that space. It's one of the advantages of sketching it rather than tracing the image is that it's much more accurate, and you can see where it's going right and where it's going wrong. I had a student once who had done some wonderful icons, but she said, my faces are wonky. And when we looked at them, it was because she had traced and things had moved in one way or another, and the axis of the eyes weren't correct or didn't match up with the axis of the mouth, things like that. So if we do trace, it's a very good plan to go back with some dividers and just check the dimensions. Just check that the axes on the different parts of the body look okay. Overcome a lot of problems later on. So with the yellow ochre and water, we're getting the basic shape of the saint in place. Check that the eyes are a nose length apart. And now we'll go back, and this time rather than using water we'll use egg tempera. So this is egg yolk mixed with white wine. There are other recipes, but I use white wine. And to make just a little mixture. It's exactly the same colour, but because it has the egg tempera in it, it will be a little bit more precise. It'll be easier to see, and we grind it with a pestle to really grind the grains smooth and mix it with the tempera. And then we choose a number 3 Kolinsky brush and paint in the outlines again, but this time refining it a bit more. It's a finer brush, so we're able to get finer lines. We're able to find within the thick light lines made with the water mixture of yellow ochre a more definite placement of major features. Make sure the ears are the same on both sides. That's a trap. This is 4 times normal speed. Getting quite a bit of the hand features in here. I find hands difficult, so I'm going a bit slow on this. I found it, I'd made the palm a bit fat, so narrowed it down again. And this hand, because the fingers aren't extended, I need to come back and check that the knuckle to the wrist matches the dimensions on the other hand, so that it actually looks like it belongs to the same body. There we go, just checking that. Yeah, that'll be all right. That'll be okay. Checking the eyes are okay. Well, there we have it. We've got the basic image onto the panel, and next time we'll start shaping, we'll start modelling the image, get some shading happening. Thank you for watching. You might like to leave a comment below, perhaps a question. I'd love to get into some dialogue with people who are watching. And we'll see you next time, the next episode of Painting Barnabas.